I get to talk about a fun time. My name is Dr. Erin Danielle with the Rejuvenate Life app, rejuvenate-life.com. It's important what you do with your dash. What is this fun time that I speak of, right? Fun time. I got braces in my 6th grade year. But not only did I have braces, I had this expander. So I didn't quite grasp that we were fracturing my skull, the hard palate. So we had this, there was 2 brackets on some of the molars on this side and this side. We had a key. My mom had to crank this key twice a day, every day for at least 6 weeks. My face and head were in excruciating pain. I cannot tell you from in 6th grade how much ibuprofen I took, or Advil. It wasn't Tylenol, I remember, it was ibuprofen. We would be at my family cottage, and I remember getting this thing cranked, and I would just be laying in bed going, ow, 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 and not like wanting anything to touch my face, not wanting to chew anything, nothing. Fast forward a little bit, and then I wound up with a bunch of sinus issues. Didn't know that the braces, really, since I didn't conceptually understand I was fracturing my skull. It made more sense when I wound up having sinus surgery when I was a sophomore in high school, because there's different sinuses. So you have an ethmoid sinus that's deep in here. You have the frontal sinus, the maxillary sinuses. So when you get a sinus headache, you can get it in any one of those sinuses. A sinus just is an air pocket between bone that helps make your skull less dense or less heavy, so you don't have as much for your neck to hold up. So my right draining hole from this maxillary sinus into the nose was completely blocked. So I had sinus infection after sinus infection after sinus infection, missed I don't know how much school, just kept getting prescribed Augmentin. I was like, this isn't working. Had CAT scans of my head, and CAT scans are radiation. So I had my head radiated, multiple times in my life, just in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And we couldn't figure out why I just had this, chronic infection. Well, it didn't have anywhere to drain. It didn't have anywhere to go. No way for that to actually get out. So I just always felt like I had this mask, like you could visibly see this mask on my face of inflammation and puffy that would happen when I would get these sinus infections. And so I would go back and forth between the ears, nose, and throat specialist, the allergist, and the pediatrician. I got so frustrated. I was like, what is the cause of this problem? What is going on that I'm getting all of these sinus infections? I want to understand how to prevent these things from happening and fix it. Like, I don't want to just be shoving a medication at it. So that was my attitude, as young as 12 years old. So I'm like, nobody is helping me. The allergist wasn't finding anything that would cause enough of an allergic reaction that would warrant allergy shots, which is good. I'm glad that I didn't go that route. Ears, nose, and throat specialist, finally in my sophomore year of high school, did the sinus surgery, figured out we didn't have it. Sinus surgery for me at the time, godsend. It was wonderful because I wasn't nearly as prone to sinus infections. Now, stress, not enough sleep will still cause me some sinus infection issues. Like if I've reached my maximum capacity, it's still a potential for me, but it's not anywhere like what it was used to. Obviously, diet has changed. Probiotics have changed. I don't go on antibiotics routinely anymore. Obviously, with something like surgery, you're kind of stuck. You don't really have a choice. Anyhow, my 6th through 8th grade years were just agony. I couldn't sleep over at anybody's houses because as soon as I changed my sleeping pattern or had somebody else's stuff in the house, then it was an issue. I slept in a basement. I probably had some mildew and mold poisoning from sleeping in the basement, so I had come back upstairs. Pretty sure that caused some other issues as well, but just constant exposure to things that were not good for me. So I did not enjoy my middle school or junior high years whatsoever. It was just uncomfortable. And my mom would get letters. She'd get truancy letters in the mail because I had missed so much school. And she's like, I have all the doctor's visits. You can see every single doctor's visit that I took her to. And we just couldn't seem to get on top of any of the issues that I was having. So those were years, plus you're going through all the hormonal changes, you're going through acne, you're going through, female development. I was by full adult size in 7th grade, my size right now, which would be very large compared to other girls, my age at that time. And so it was just like one thing after another. If I would not go and do middle school over again. I look at middle schools, I look at my daughter and my son who are in middle school, and I just go, oh, you poor things. Just got to get through this time. It's rough. I know. So anyhow, that was my experience with the braces and with the sinus infections and all of those kinds of things. I'm Dr. Erin Daniel with the Rejuvenate Life app, rejuvenate-life.com. It's important what you do with your dash.